If you run a service-based business like I do, working with information is one of the key things you do, because it is with the information you have that you get to increase the quality of your service, you get to increase the things you do. But more importantly is, if you create content, information is one of the most powerful things that you have at your disposal in order to serve your market and talk about the things that you do. Now, when it comes to content creation and creating content for public use or for private use or for training purposes or whatever means that you create content, how can you turn information into results-focused transformation? A lot of content don't pass, a lot of content don't do that. So how will you be able to do that? In this particular episode, that is what I want to walk you through. How to turn your information into transformation. How can you turn the information that make up the content, how can you turn that into transformation? And that is exactly what I'm going to be walking you through in this particular episode. So let's jump right into it. Let's begin this conversation with a statement that I usually make. Information alone is not a value proposition. If what you do in your business is that you are basically have special information that some other people don't have access to, well, what you need to understand is information alone on its own is not a value proposition. Information cannot be the thing that you're selling, even though yes, that's exactly what you're selling. There should be something higher than information, and that should be perhaps transformation, because information is literally garbage. Every single person who can do good research should be able to access whatever kind of information that you have access to. In fact, considering that now there's a lot of things that you can even find even online by just doing a little searches and asking the right questions, checking in the right places, you'll be able to find certain things. So information alone as a business is not a value proposition. Now, if information is not a value proposition, the question then becomes, what are you being paid for? And this is a question I want you to answer right now. What are you being paid for in your business, in the service that you offer? What particular thing are you being paid for? What exactly do you do that people pay you for? If you can answer this question, you are well on your way to uncovering how you turn the information available to you into transformation. And that's what I'm going to walk you through right about now. So let's look at the system that I teach, how to turn information into transformation. So information comes in from this side, and then what you want to pass out is transformation. So anytime you are creating content, anytime you are designing a program, or you are designing a product, or you are trying to offer a service based on information, what you want to do is information is to come in from this end, and then transformation simply becomes the result of whatever it is that you're doing. How do you then make your information? How do you then transform the information so that it becomes transformation? Well, this is how to do that. First thing, you want to make the information essential. And when I say making it essential, what you want to make it, the information is an essential information basically solves a problem. So if you are going to be sharing any information, if you are going to be creating any content, you want to ensure that that content, that information you are putting into that content is essentially solving a problem. So you make it essential enough, as basic enough as focusing on a particular problem that you are solving. Do you get that? So it's focusing particularly on a problem that you are solving. And once you make it essential such that it focuses on a problem, the next thing you want to do is you want to make it expansive. And by expansive, I'm not saying you want to make it very large, that is very expanded. That's not what I mean. Your content doesn't have to be voluminous in order to transform somebody. When it comes to expansive content, what it means is you simply want to expand the perspective that people have before they consume your content. So when they access your information, you want it to be that by the time they are done, their thinking has kind of changed, their perspective has been altered, how they perceive things has been expanded. So if your information is just garbage in, then it becomes garbage out. But if your information, first of all, is speaking to a problem that you know they have, then it's expansive by changing and altering the perspective. Of course, the moment it becomes expansive, the transformation begins to happen, because when you are altering somebody's perspective, which is the biggest change you can make for anybody, the moment you expand the perspective, how they perceive things, how they see things, how they feel like this is how things should be done, once you expand that perspective, you have created the biggest change for them, because they can't go back. According to Oliver Wendell Holmes, a mind stretched to a new idea cannot go back to its previous dimension. All right, once you have been able to do that, the next thing you want to do, which is the last thing, is you want to make your information executable. And when I say executable, what do I mean? I mean, you want to make it into a process, something that is process driven, something that takes them from, okay, now that I've spoken to the problem, now that I've expanded your perspective, this is what you need to do. This is the process involved. Do you get that? If you put together any information this way, if you put together your content this way, what you are doing is you are not just essentially selling information to another person. What you are doing is you are selling transformation, because even you that you are creating it, you know that you have taken your time to distill everything you are doing into essential, expansive, and executable information that is focused on creating transformation for someone. Now, if you are not doing any of this right now, I want to ask the question I asked earlier on. What are you being paid for? If you are not solving problems for people, you are not expanding the perspective, and you are not giving them a process that they can utilize, then what really are you being paid for? If you are not essentially turning your content into essential problems, expanding their frame of reference, the frame of the world, and making it executable such that they know that as I'm done with this, I know this is the next thing I need to do, then what exactly are you doing? Now, in order to create a process-driven content, of course, I've already talked about that in a different episode. Of course, you can also find that the title should be Content Creation Strategy Framework. That's how you develop the process part. The problem part, of course, I already mentioned that in identifying the market. Inside that one as well, the perspective is the one that I'm introducing to you right now, which is the part where you expand people's perspective. So it's not like they will consume your content and at the end they are just like, okay, I'm done. That's all. Is that all? This is what people are looking for, because to be honest, a lot of people are drowning in a lot of information because they are trying to find the wisdom, the transformation that they can lay their hands on in order to create the changes they're looking for in their lives. If that is something that you can do for them, why not begin to do it? And of course, when you begin to do that, what are you doing? You are simply separating yourself from every other person who creates content, because you're not creating the regular information, so to say. You are simply giving them transformation. So anytime people come across your content, they know that they are not living the same way they keep. This should be the bedrock of what you do. And of course, if you would like to be a part of a deeper dive into a discussion, especially this kind of subject, I'm going to recommend you check the link in the description below for a program that's going to allow you to do that. There are two programs that I'm going to recommend to you in the description below this video. That's going to be one, the content creation strategies, and second is the niche mastery method. The two of them, if you combine those two programs together, you are made, so to say. I hope that this is helpful to you. Once again, this is Audacity2Lead, where we give you the courage and the necessary insights you need to lead your business in the direction that matters to you. I am Dayo Samuel, and I am going to see you in the next video that you can see here on my screen right now. I'm going to see you next time, especially in any of those videos. So let's meet in that one.